Overnight, global markets and security settings were dominated by a renewed Strait of Hormuz crisis. The Financial Times reports the US and Iran have exchanged fire, with Tehran targeting the UAE and the US striking Iranian fast boats. Oil has jumped to around $115 a barrel and US Treasuries sold off, underscoring the inflation risk that comes with energy shocks. The US says it will begin a project from Monday to guide stranded ships out of Hormuz, as reported by SBS, while analysis in the Financial Times warns the longer disruption persists, the more likely a crisis-style adjustment becomes for advanced economies. The conflict backdrop is also sharpening elsewhere. The BBC reports a Ukrainian drone hit an upmarket Moscow high-rise ahead of Victory Day events. Russia has declared a unilateral ceasefire around the celebrations and has threatened major retaliation if disrupted. Separately in Europe, German authorities detained a 33-year-old after a car was driven into a crowd in Leipzig, killing 2 and injuring others, according to the BBC and Al Jazeera. On health security, international attention is on a suspected virus outbreak aboard an Atlantic cruise ship after 3 deaths. The BBC reports the cause is not yet established, while SBS and The Conversation outline hantavirus as a suspected culprit and explain it is a rare infection typically linked to exposure to infected rodent droppings in enclosed spaces. In the broader technological revolution, the strategic contest is increasingly about supply chains and influence, as much as hardware. The Financial Times notes China is building soft power as the US under Donald Trump burns bridges, a reminder that technology, trade, and diplomacy are converging. Artificial intelligence remains central to that competition, particularly in defense, logistics, and information operations, even when it is not the headline. Turning to Australia, the government has struck a deal with Japan covering defense cooperation, critical minerals, and fuel security. SBS reports the agreement is being framed as a quasi-alliance at a time of heightened regional tension and scrutiny of Australia's AUKUS submarine pathway, and it lands amid global energy insecurity that makes fuel resilience more politically urgent. Economically, attention is on both the Reserve Bank and the federal budget. ABC reports the RBA faces what it calls a choice between 2 evils, risking recession or entrenching inflation, and that the next interest rate decision is expected to be split. On fiscal policy, ABC and the Sydney Morning Herald report Labor is considering reviving and reworking elements of its 2019 tax agenda, with capital gains tax settings, negative gearing, and trusts emerging as a tax trio under active consideration. The Conversation reports the budget will also reduce the electric vehicle fringe benefits tax concession, a change expected to save $1.7 billion, signaling a tightening of some transition-era incentives for the Australian public service and service delivery. ABC reports serious concerns about Indus routing, including allegations of billing for services not provided, overcharging, identity theft, and in some cases kidnapping vulnerable clients to place them in expensive accommodation and drain plans. Separately, ABC reports dialysis units across Australia and New Zealand are rationing care amid a warning of a tsunami of chronic disease, with a new report flagging a significant threat to patient safety. In local and state news, the Sydney Morning Herald reports 3 people have died in a boating accident off the NSW coast after a marine rescue vessel rolled while responding to a yacht in trouble near South Ballina. That's the latest on the global economy and conflict shocks, the policy and budget signals at home, and the service delivery pressures now demanding urgent attention.